Hello YouTube, I'm Zach, you're watching ZakDTV. Thanks for stopping in today. I like to do my show in 4 parts. That's something interesting, something fun, something important, and we'll wrap it up with something dumb. Let's get this thing going. I want to start off with something I found kind of interesting here. It's a program that was done by DARPA. They called it the Icarus program. That stands for Inbound Controlled Air Releasable Unrecoverable System. They love their acronyms over there at DARPA. It builds off an existing technology they've been working on, something they call VAPOR. That's VAPR, and that stands for Vanishing Programmable Resource. Basically, it's computer chips that will degrade in the elements. So that way, other militaries, other insurgents don't get their hands on our technology. It's sort of like a self-destruct, if you will. Kind of like Mission Impossible. Now, they handed these 2 programs off to a company called Other Lab. They're a research team based in San Francisco, and they've been tasked with making a disposable delivery drone. I know when I first saw this, I was thinking, oh, cool, something new for Amazon. Not quite. They're looking at heavy-duty cardboard gliders, and they're calling them Aspara. A-S-P-A-R-A. Long sentence of words, I'm not going to get into it, and they are not as good at acronyms as DARPA is. They plan on dropping these things by the hundreds out of cargo planes like the C-17, and they will glide to ground as far away as 55 miles and land at the target. They have proof of concept already. They've dropped these from 1,000 feet up, hit multiple waypoints, and landed within feet of their target. At their current size, they can only carry about 2.2 pounds, a kilogram in weight, but they figure they should be scalable to carry up to about 22 pounds, and it wouldn't cause any issues. And then when they land, they will biodegrade in about 3 days. You get them a little wet, they start breaking down. A couple days later, you don't even have the drone anymore. It is a self-disposing package. They plan on using it to carry blood, to carry vaccines or other medical liquids, stuff to our troops, stuff to impoverished areas, places where there's not a lot of infrastructure. This would be the perfect way to deliver items to those places you can't get to easily. When I read this, I just thought it was the coolest thing. I started thinking, put a propeller on it, use it for Amazon, and then when we get our packages, we can throw them in a little bucket of water and they'll decompose themselves. What do you guys think about this one? For my fun story, for something a little more heartening, something that kind of made me feel good today, it's a story that comes from locally here. And I'll tell you what, it made me feel pretty happy when I saw this. Last night, there was an Amber Alert put out for a girl, a little 2-year-old, that was missing from the Berwick area. The alert was to be on the lookout for a stolen Mustang that was supposedly heading towards LaPorte, PA. The mom said she left the girl in the car in front of the house. When she came back out, car was gone, girl was gone. We had a huge turnout from our local state police, volunteers, everything like that, trying to find this car. I would have hated being the guy driving a yellow Mustang last night because you were getting pulled over. But in the long run, it has a happy ending. The mom forgot to pull the parking brake or put it in park or whatever it was, and the car rolled away. The little girl was strapped into the baby seat. She wasn't injured. The car jumped a curb, went down a hill in the weeds and woods near the woman's house. They did find her. Like I said, she was okay, and everything turned out right. I almost use this for my dumb story of the day because of the mother, but it brightened my day. It made me feel good. They found this little girl, nothing happened to her, and it wasn't as bad as it sounded, and I think everybody can benefit from that. Next, I'd like to talk about a story that seems to be all over the internet right now, and it's what Trump's comment to Bill O'Reilly was. When Bill O'Reilly said to him during an interview that Putin is a killer, his response was, "Do you think we're so innocent?" I can see why this is blowing up all over the internet. This is our president acknowledging things we have done wrong as a country, and it does hurt the perceived moral fiber of America. And it really made me think, can America be as bad as a former KGB leader, a man who is known to ride horses shirtless? Surely we can't be that bad. But if you do look at our history, it is one of violence, covert operations, drug sales to our own citizens, and even murder. Let's take, for example, 1953 in Iran. We spent millions of dollars, staged protests, and had their military remove their leader to put in somebody that we wanted. This is publicly acknowledged and talked about in declassified statements from the CIA. This isn't conspiracy theory stuff I'm going to talk about here. These are all proven. Guatemala. That's where we trained the rebels to take out their president. We did that because he wanted to make land reforms that would have benefited his country, but would have hurt a U.S.-owned United Fruit Company. We have the Congo in 1960, where after the CIA aborted an attempt to assassinate their president using a poisoned handkerchief, we gave the rebels in the area all the information they needed on the president's whereabouts, his escape routes, armed them, sent them in. The day after they captured him, he'd been murdered. We did this to help maintain Belgian business interests in the area. We have Dominican Republic in 1961, where we aided political dissidents in killing their dictator. Now, the guy was very brutal, was killing a lot of people. I kind of agree with this one, but it seems like something we could have done above board, not covert. And just 3 weeks before Kennedy's assassination, John F. Kennedy's assassination. We provided funds and weapons to take down South Vietnam's leader. We were already in South Vietnam. We wanted to take him out because his views opposed ours. We also have Brazil in 1964, where we started riots, provided fuel and weapons not of U.S. origin, took that right from a declassified document, to the people that wanted to overthrow their president. President Lyndon Johnson, our president, told his advisors that were planning the coup that I think we ought to take every step we can, be prepared to do everything that we need to do. Now that, again, is in declassified government records. This is all on record. In 73, we helped put a man in office in Chile who had severe human rights violations, murders, tortures, all that, including the murder of dissidents. We did it because he fell in line with us politically. Now those are the ones I've verified, all through government documents, and we can't forget the multiple attacks on Castro, the exploding cigars, stuff like that. And even more recently, we have the death of reporters. Take, for example, Michael Hastings, who was a contributor for Rolling Stone magazine. Big magazine, I'm sure you know it. He also contributed to BuzzFeed. I'm sure you know them too. He didn't write puff pieces and little clickbait articles. His pieces put our government on edge. One article he wrote led to the downfall of McChrystal. McChrystal was at the time the commander of our entire war in Afghanistan. He led everything. And Hastings' report started the investigation into him that eventually had him removed. He also interviewed Julian Assange, and he investigated the military's illicit use of psychological operations. He died in a fiery accident after the car he was driving slammed into a tree at a high rate of speed, some say around 100 miles an hour, on Hollywood Boulevard, and then exploded. The damage to the car from the explosion is all in the rear. I read a piece from a guy who states that most of the time when cars catch on fire, it's either because catastrophic damage in the front that will pin the battery against something metal, shorting the battery out, the engine running out of coolant and catching on fire, or the engine running out of oil and catching on fire. Those are the three main causes. Other than that, it's internal fires, dropped cigarettes, stuff like that. The way the car burned and the way the damage is wrong. This happened just a few hours after he called an attorney for WikiLeaks and told her that the FBI was investigating him. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the car he was driving was a brand new Mercedes. They're not known to blow up for no reason. And also, he was in the middle of writing a piece that was going to expose some of the dark secrets of the CIA. This one is sort of a conspiracy theory because there's no hard evidence and no one has taken credit for this one yet. But if you look at the facts, it looks real suspicious. One more I'd hope you look at and make your own opinion on is Gary Webb, Pulitzer Prize winning author, was found dead, apparent suicide. He shot himself twice in the head. This came after he exposed the CIA's drug trafficking in America. I'm not saying all this to defend what Trump said, but I'm trying to point out that no, we aren't like Russia. I think we do it better. All the links to everything I've talked about here are in my description. Please take a look at them. Make your own opinions on this. This is something very important. And just for the morality of our country, I think more needs to be said about these kind of things. We can't let people just do this and claim it's in defense of America when we don't want stuff like this done. To wrap it all up, I want to finish with something a little dumb here for you. I'm going to go with Mike Freeman. Mike Freeman, 63 years old, from Sparta, Georgia, decided he needed to take the bus and go get some milk. Good decision. Makes sense to me. Save the environment, take the bus. He decided he needed a cigarette while he was on the bus, though, and lit up. Not the brightest thing to do. No smoking in pretty much anywhere public anymore. So a passenger on the bus and the driver both told him to put it out. This pissed him off. So bad, in fact, they decided to catch the driver's hair on fire. Now, she got it put out real quick. No burns, no damage to her, and she jumped off the bus. The passenger fled as well. His bright idea then was, I'm gonna steal the bus. He takes off with the bus. Driver calls 911. Next thing you know, cops are on him. It's a chase. One point, he hit spike strips. He still ended up taking the bus up to 95 miles an hour in a city bus, right? He was on the wrong side of the road, in oncoming traffic, everything. He was trying to get away from the cops in a bus. To stop him, they had to ram him off the road. Then, when they were trying to get him off the bus, he was fighting back, fought the paramedics that were trying to help him. And in the long run, this trip to go get some milk, he ended up being charged with battery, aggravated assault, eluding the police. I don't see why they call it eluding. He never got out of sight. And a DUI. Yup, he was drunk. And that was his number 7. Because of this, Mike Freeman from Sparta, Georgia, I thank you. You've given me something to write about today. You are my dumb of the day. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I thank everybody for watching. If you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. Let me know what you think. Do some research on my last topic. I want to hear your comments on that too. Pretty important stuff. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow.